See, when you mention Jezebel, a lot of people believe that you're referring to a female. Not necessarily. The spirit of Jezebel, or the personality or the energy of Jezebel, is not gender based. It can be embodied by either man or woman. What it really is a spirit of manipulation and deception. Now, this manipulation and deception can be achieved through seduction. It doesn't have to be seduction of a sexual nature, not necessarily. It could be, but it varies. It could be seduction of power. Let me give you a good example of that. It would look something like, okay, let's plant falsehood on that MD so that you can take his position. Does that make any sense? It could be seduction of money. This is when you do something strange for some change. It could be seduction of clout. The list goes on. A sure way to have somebody that embodies the spirit of Jezebel in your life is if you're a codependent. And what's a codependent, right? So a codependent is an enabler. This is somebody that enables bad behaviors, bad habits from the people around them, out of fear of losing them, out of fear of losing their approval or losing their support. Let me give you a good example. So it could be something like maybe you have a friend or a family member or a colleague or whatever it is that constantly comes to you for money. It could even be like a partner, do you understand, in a relationship or whatever. They're not trying to, they know that once they come to you, you give it to them. So they don't bother to work hard. They don't bother to do anything. They just come to you to collect and collect all the time. And the day you don't give them, you're the devil. And you keep enabling it, you keep encouraging it, you don't put your foot down so that you don't look like a bad person, so that you're not helping them. Another example would be that maybe you have a partner that does not want to see your family members can't visit or stay over or whatever it is. Do you understand? But you can't do anything about it. You can't put your foot down because, oh, you might lose them, or they might get angry, it might seem like you're problematic, or flip the script. You can have a man that is constantly beating you to a pulp. Do you understand? All the time, but you don't want to leave that relationship because out of fear of not being in a relationship or being single. That's what a codependent is somebody that is emotionally and psychologically dependent on another person in a very unhealthy manner. Now, this is the spirit of Ahab. So now let's talk about the spirit of Jezebel and how to identify it. Now, one thing I've noticed about a lot of people is usually when they see like a scantily dressed woman, do you understand, or a seductive looking woman looking a certain way, people point to that woman and say, oh, look at her, Jezebel. I mean, she could be, but usually this is just like a sabi girl. Just doing a thing. Do you understand? The spirit of Jezebel is a very subtle spirit. It's not obvious. It hides behind the facade. It hides behind the facade of innocence. It hides behind the facade of prim and proper. It hides behind the facade of royalty, behind the facade of godliness. You never ever see them coming, and that's how they enter your life. It's an illusion. They are not the obvious, scantily dressed, seductive looking woman. No, Jezebel herself was not a streetwalker. She was a princess. She was royalty, well packaged. And that's how people miss it. There's a saying that says, if there's no opening in the wall, Eliza cannot enter it. If you're not disciplined, if you're disciplined and leave no room for nonsense behaviors, for bad behaviors, for enabling bad behaviors, the spirit of Jezebel cannot enter your life. Point 1. Jezebel introduced false gods to Israel. She introduced the worship of Baal and other deities. So now, how to identify this is, please do not think for one second that the people that carry this spirit will, you see them with idols or with effigies or all sorts of funny things. No, what they do is they use seduction. It would look something like this. Prayer is very good, though. Prayer is very, very good. I'm not saying prayer is not good. Do you understand? But, heaven help those who help themselves. Do you understand? You can't just sit here and be praying all the time. See, a lot of people won't tell you what they do. Most of the time, people go out and seek help from very powerful people. You have to go out. I'm not saying stop praying. Don't stop praying, no. But you have to go out, seek help from other people that are powerful. Do you understand? See, it's not even like it's demonic. Me, I know somebody. I'm not saying you have to go. But I'm just saying, a lot of people, yes, you do your prayer. you don't stop your prayer. God has to help you, but you also have to go out, So there's somebody I know. I mean, it's traditional. It's not like it's anything demonic. Please don't get me wrong for 1 second. I am not knocking tradition. What I'm saying is sometimes some things are hidden behind the guise of tradition. Do you understand? They would call it tradition, but it's something else. So, like I was saying, they would say, people won't tell you where they go. Do you understand? You just see everybody praying and things are happening in their lives. This one, you pray for 100 years. This one, 2 days, things will start happening for you. Do you understand? It's tradition. It's not like it's anything bad. They use seduction. Point 2, Jezebel killed all the prophets of God. I mean, excluding a few. Now, the people that carry the spirit in your life, they're not killing any prophet. But what they will do is kill every voice of reasoning in your life. Now, what that is everyone that can advise you, that can tell you the truth, that you trust their opinion, becomes their enemy. And they won't do it in an obvious way. What would they do? They would use seduction. What they would do is play on your ego and subtly remove these people from your life one after the other, even down to your place of worship. So it would look something like, it's never obvious. So it would look something like, are you a child that your mother is controlling you or your father is controlling you, depending on which one of them tells you the truth? Or your friend is controlling you. You see, that friend is just jealous of you. I'm telling you, it's jealousy. It's jealousy. They're just jealous of you. All this advice they're giving you, it's just jealousy. Can't you pray in your house? You always have to go to church. Just chill in your house one day. You see, you have to know your God yourself. Know your God yourself. Just stay in your house and pray, read your Bible, and gradually you stop going to church or any other place of worship. Gradually, they pull you out of everything. So what they're doing is that they become the only voice of reason in your life. They become the only people you ever listen to. Point 3, King Ahab was sulking. He wanted Naboth's land that didn't belong to him. Now, as the person in his life, he told Jezebel, right? And she could have encouraged peace. She could have said to him, you know what, let's find a way to appease him. Let's try to give him more money. Let's see if we can find somebody to talk to him. But instead, she chose violence. Now, their only solution to things is usually through the destructive route. See, it might not even be anything big. It might just be as simple as, oh, we're running late, right? Why don't you just drive past the red light? So Jezebel went on to destroy Naboth. What she did was she wrote a letter spreading vicious lies about Naboth, sent it around and sealed it with the king's seal. This is so that she could gather as many people as possible to stone Naboth to death, which she achieved, right? So most of the time, you think these people have your back because at this point they stand as the only voice of reasoning in your life. So it will look, whilst they rope you into destruction, it will look something like, don't worry, you want that position, leave it to me, you will get that position. All we'll do is bring that person down, we'll tell lies on them, we'll slander their name, we'll destroy their reputation. Do you understand? We'll gather people, we'll even pay off people to bear false witness. We'll say, those people will say, yes, I saw them do it, I was there when they did that bad thing. Do you understand? Don't worry, we'll pay off witnesses, we'll do everything we need to do. Do you understand? Just so that nobody will deal with them anymore, they'll be isolated. Then you can have their position, you can have whatever it is you want from them. Literally killing them whilst they're still alive. And somehow Jezebel managed to rope King Ahab into it because she used his seal, right? So what they will do is, if you have money, they will use your money to bring down other people. If you have power, they will use your power. If you have clout, they will use your clout to carry out their destructive ways. When Jehu went out to see Jezebel, she dressed up in all her glory. She painted her face, she did her makeup, she wore nice clothes. Do you understand? And then she stood at her window. See, a lot of people misconstrue this act as an act of sexual seduction, but far from it. It was actually an act of pride. So what you need to keep in mind is that people with the spirit of Jezebel are extremely prideful people. These are people that can never take responsibility for their actions. When you tell them they've done something wrong, rather than accept it or at least listen to what you have to say and try to take responsibility for the part they played in it, no. they would even flip the script on you, like, you made me do it, you made me do it, you made me cheat on you, you were working too hard, you didn't have my time, you were not looking at me anymore, you were not complimenting me, so I had to cheat on you, you made me do it. Rather than accept responsibility for what they did wrong, they would actually flip it on you because their ego and their pride will not let them. Then Jezebel went on to mock and taunt Jehu to get under his skin, right? By calling him Zimri. So what she said was, is it peace, Zimri, murderer of your master? Let me explain this part properly, right? So Zimri was like a military official to a past king of Israel. So King Ella. So what happened was Zimri murdered him and took his throne. But his reign as king only lasted 7 days. So when she called him Zimri, don't forget that God had appointed Jehu to destroy the house of Ahab, right? Now Zimri also murdered the king, do you understand? So she called him Zimri in a bid to taunt him that as an appointed person of God to destroy Ahab's kingdom, his reign would not last. So please keep in mind, these are people that would continuously mock you and taunt you, especially in public. They will say things to get under your skin. Then when you react, then they would go, why are you so dramatic? Can't you take a joke? Why are you always getting so angry? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? What they're trying to do is maintain their facade of innocence whilst you look like the unstable one. And if they do and say these things long enough, you become very docile and you allow them to get away with everything because you don't want to seem like the problematic one. You don't want to seem like the one that is constantly complaining whilst they are the ones actually doing it to you. So what this is manipulation and control to keep you under their thumb. If you remember at the end, Jezebel was thrown out of the window and she was eaten by dogs, right? Let me tell you the irony of that, right? So the symbol of dogs is very, very powerful in the Canaanite religion, which is actually associated with the worship of Baal, which are the deities Jezebel worshipped, right? Now, she was eaten by dogs, which means the same deities she worshipped and she was devoted to was the same thing that actually devoured her. Does that make any sense? If the walls don't have an opening, the lizard cannot enter it. You have to stay disciplined. You have to stay watchful. And you have to stay very prayerful to avoid people with this devious spirit in your life. She took down King Ahab. The whole point of their presence in your life is to take you down. Namaste.